This week's parsha opens up with the story of the Jewish people leaving Egypt, as it says in the first verse, "Vahi Beshalach Paro es ha'am." Pharaoh sent the Jewish people out of Egypt. It was very interesting, as the first verse articulates, that the Jewish people did not go what would seem to be the most straightforward route on the way to the land of Israel. They could have just gone through the area from going from Egypt to Israel by foot, as today is what's known as the Gaza Strip, the area southwest of Israel, and that would seem to be the most direct way traveling by foot from Egypt to Israel, whereas they went a complete roundabout way, and they went south into the what's known today as the Sinai Desert, came up the north on the eastern border, and eventually crossed over the Jordan River into the land of Israel, which seems to be a very big deal in terms of going out of the way. And why didn't the Jews just go ahead and follow the most straightforward route? And it's not because they did not have a GPS, as some have suggested, but rather, as it says in the Torah, Ki Amar, because God said they should not go ahead and go the most straightforward route, because if they would encounter some difficulty, they would just say, let us go back to Egypt. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That right after they endured slavery for so many decades, and even beyond decades, centuries of difficulties in Egypt, after encountering some resistance outside the Egyptian borders, they would just say, go ahead and go back into Egypt. They knew that the environment for them in Egypt was anything but desirable. So why would they go ahead and elect to go ahead and go back to Egypt? And I think it tells us a great lesson in our lives, and that is that many times we plan grand things or grand projects, and we have great visions of success in our minds. We would like to go ahead and achieve this. We would like to go ahead and accomplish that. We want to go ahead and build a coalition of individuals and accomplish that very often appropriate and compelling dream. But many times we don't leave the option in for failure. Sometimes it doesn't work out. What are we going to do? There should always be a plan that, yes, this is my goal. This is what I would like to achieve. But if it doesn't work out, these are my contingent plans. This is what we're going to do just in case it doesn't work out. Yes, I'll hope for the best, but plan for the worst. It's always good to go ahead and make sure that you have a good, practical, pragmatic way of dealing with the eventual day-to-day difficulties. Sometimes there may be resistance of any kind, and that's what the Jewish people were taught back then. Yes, they were inspired. Yes, they had just come out of Egypt. Yes, their feathers were all fluffed up. But there may be a rainy day in their future. That their faith may not be as strong as it was on the day they left Egypt. So therefore God said, let them not go the straightforward route. Let them go a roundabout way. They'll be far enough that they won't have that desire to go back to Egypt. Folks, I think that's a very compelling and powerful lesson for us, as we sometimes are inspired and we sometimes have great aspirations. That's a wonderful thing. But sometimes we have to be practical as well. Sometimes we have to go ahead and envision a day, a rainy day perhaps, where things may not seem as sunny and bloomy as they normally do. And what are we going to do then? Let us remember the lesson of the Exodus and how the Jewish people traveled as they left Egypt. Have a wonderful Shabbos.